everybody asks.
I'm open to whether we're not one-sided on this. We're very open to both sides, and I've been debating this with my friends for weeks now. The idea that Andrew and Tristan Tate were taken into custody for several different charges in Romania on the 2 days before New Year's, right? It was like
December 30th.
The day before New Year's. And what's happened is the entire internet is divided. People who don't like them absolutely, unequivocally think they're guilty, and people who do like them absolutely, unequivocally think that they're innocent. And you and I both kind of had the wait and see method, wait and see philosophy, and the whole idea for us is like, I personally don't think the motivation was there. I've said that before. I received hellified criticism for saying that, and also so have you. So Sterling, before you and I just did a podcast the other day, you have been with Andrew and Tristan in their house in Romania, in Bucharest, for a while, and you had an opinion on this, and I was curious what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around these boys, for weeks on end, with no cameras, in private, just, boys being boys. And when you are around somebody that long, it's very hard to act for like weeks on end. Eventually you see someone's real character.
Right.
And Andrew and Tristan are not the kind of people who are going to go abusing women. They're not the kind of people who are going to go and human traffic. And to me, it's, I would consider them both very close friends of mine. So I'm not on the position where I'm going to wait to see, the evidence. I believe that they are completely innocent. And so I will do my best to try and defend their reputation whenever I can.
So what you're saying is that the video that came out with the recording of Andrew saying he enjoyed raping someone and all that was fake?
I haven't seen a video of him saying he enjoyed raping somebody.
It was
are you
on
checking
Vice.
the Vice link
the
today?
Vice today, yeah.
There's Vice link today.
So Vice, I was at
I
the event where Vice were filming.
I can tell you about that, but go ahead.
That video I haven't seen. But the whole Vice documentary that came out recently, that was filmed like over 6 months ago at this event they did in Romania. And I was there, and they did nothing but the entire organization treated those guys extremely well, showed them, what our brotherhood is like, really, the organization that we're part of. And we knew from the start that they were going to try and use it as a slanderous hit piece on him. It's Vice. That's what they do, right? And we expected them to kind of release that footage, like that documentary, within like a month or two, and they didn't. So we're like, okay, well to me,
they sit on it.
They waited till the timing.
Right?
Oh, I got a story.
What does that?
You.
So that means one of two things, right? Either it means that they were privy to information that they would get apprehended when they went back to Romania. That's one possibility. I don't know how well Vice are connected that way.
Right.
The other more likely possibility that I believe is they couldn't, because of all the footage they got there. They were interviewing some other members from the war room and things like that. The footage they got of Andrew was so overwhelmingly positive that they couldn't frame him in such a way to make it look bad. Until 6+ months later, he gets arrested, or detained rather. And now they have a way to spin it, and he can't defend himself either. He can't speak out against it himself either.
So I just want to bring up one point. Regardless of whether you are pro or against this, there was a woman named Jill Shively who literally, with her own eyes, saw O.J. Simpson go from the Bundy house to the Rockingham house. He saw it. He saw her. She said she saw him run a light. Then she goes on a talk show. She talks about it, and Gil Garcetti, who was the district attorney at the time, decided to not use her testimony in court because she was compensated for speaking out on another case. My question is this. This story is coming out before voir dire. Do you understand? There has not been a jury selection, and they're already doing this. And these are people who are testifying in the case. Regardless of whether or not you think he's guilty or innocent, this is playing far outside the rules in order to do something like this.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand, because in the United States, they would not accept her testimony if she went on a television show beforehand and started saying this. There is a place and time for this. In the U.S., this is in a court of law. So that's the only issue.
This ain't the U.S. This is Romania, and I think the biggest mistake that I see everyone making right now, and you know who the fuck you are, too, this is Romania. This is not the United States. This is not fucking an episode of CSI. Okay, this is Romania. How it works there.
CSI
it's not
Romania.
How it works here. Okay, so let's just
CSI Bucharest.
get that out of your fat heads right now. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here because I was playing it really kind of close to the chest on the show that I did 2 weeks ago on my show when this first started rolling out. And as things have developed, as well as the Vice leak. The funny thing about the leak is that I've known the Tates since 2017, 2016, somewhere around there. One of the first interviews I did with Andrew, he addressed that girl from 2013 on my show By the way, I pulled it off of YouTube for obvious reasons, but it's mirrored on Odyssey. So if anybody wants to go look that up, it's still on Odyssey. But he addressed everything that was going on at that time with the girl that they're digging up from 2013, way back when. I don't think that, and here's me just spitballing here, I don't think that the charges that are up against them right now have anything to do with sex trafficking. I think that's just a pretense to hold them for bigger charges right now. They want to get them on money laundering. They want to get them on something that is way more serious than girls saying, oh, he did this, he touched me here, he did that kind of stuff. As you were saying, I've never seen them do any. You lived with them for like 2 months in last February in Dubai, for fuck's sake.
And it's like every single woman who came through that house, is there of her own volition, and they're just sitting there partying. Honestly, half the time when we're partying with girls in that house, they're ignoring the chicks, and the boys are just hanging out together. It's to me, it's so ludicrous.
I think they want them on something bigger. That's why. And I think this is just a pretense to hold them for 30 days, and then maybe even longer than that, so they can go and build a case for something else.
And I think it's pretty obvious that international powers have pressured Romania to do something about it.
Well, I mean, we are looking at, the British consulate just visited them just the other day with the economics guy from the British. Why the economics guy is there?
Right.
Maybe it's about money. Maybe it's about money.
They're still British citizens, charged
well,
with a felony.
Of course,
in
they
other
wanted
cities.
him to get there, but it's I'm not saying that they shouldn't be there. Should, but I'm like, why are they dragging the economics guy there too?
I only asked that question because I was recently even told who Andrew was.
Yeah.
Never heard of him until maybe 5 or 6 months ago. And when it kind of picked up and peaked at his little celebrities moment, it's all little clips of really disturbing things that he's said. So I don't know his background. I don't know what he's really about. You guys know him personally.
Agitation.
It's nice to know that there's a different side to it. But all I've ever seen is social media clips of him saying he only dates 18-year-olds because they're more manipulated. And I'm like, what? The outlandish things that he says, I don't know if it's for the attention. I don't know if he truly believes this and everyone's just giving him a pass for it. Not sure. But I only asked that question because I saw it literally before pouring in here.
By the way,
he's been upfront about it for at least as far back as 2016. So,
by the way, that's super valid. It's not your job to go watch a 3-hour podcast, right? And he's even said when he went on the British gentleman, what's his name? Yeah, Piers Morgan. He even said there were certain instances we wished he'd used different words in some of the things that he said. The problem that I had is that a large social media influencer hit me up a couple of days ago and was somehow trying to conflate her feeling of him being dangerous with him being convicted of a felony. And that is not how it works in this country, at least. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that I found to be scary. If evidence comes out that he did it, then I will accept that. But I haven't seen that physical evidence so far.
That's why I have been people say you're riding the fence. You're goddamn right, I'm riding the fence because I want to make sure that I'm accurate with everything that I'm talking about. And then, by the way, the whole Vice timing right now. I said this back in November when I did a certain show on a certain daytime talk show that I wasn't supposed to talk about, but I can now because the Dr. Phil show that I was on is going to air on, at least last I heard was the 26th of this month. So now they actually I didn't think they were going to do it. But what did I say when I was right here at this table and I said because they told me it was going to be 2 to 3 weeks before they aired it.
Yeah.
And what did I say? I said, they won't do that. They'll wait until some shit comes down so they can throw it at Andrew. And here we are.
Amber.
I hate being right all the time.
Amber and Laura, did you guys have any opinion? It's, by the way, anything you want to say is valid. It doesn't matter if you're fully informed or whatever just your first initial opinion is.
Definitely not fully informed on the Andrew Tate situation. I literally just figured out who he was when he got arrested in Romania. So I don't know much. I have touched on it. He's misogynistic. Women hate him, kind of thing.
Yeah,
women love him.
Yeah, that's
I love to hate him.
I'll say this: it's usually a lot of stuff is clickbait nowadays. So I don't really feel like the media is very trustworthy in how they portray people a lot of the time. But I also just don't know anything about him, so
let's point out one other thing. So what you see, there's 2 types of clips that come out. You've probably noticed these annoying clips of me every fucking 5 minutes on Instagram. Those are my
and TikTok.
Right, on TikTok. those are my affiliates. Those are my affiliates. So basically, they get paid to sell my course. Andrew was doing something similar with his courses, where they had affiliates. The affiliates would get 10%, and those affiliates would make sites basically just to Andrew Tate, and they'd grow grow super fast. These guys will get 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers super fast just from posting Andrew Tate content. But they deliberately, two things happen. Number one, they deliberately would make the most lascivious content they could in order to get people to get views. Exactly. For specifically for frustrated men who were confused, would see this type of content and immediately sort of go towards it. And then secondly, there were people who didn't like Andrew Tate who would additionally take this out of context. I'm sure at some point somebody will take me out of context and do something similar. So that's the same type of situation. but that's essentially what happened. That doesn't mean you're wrong. But what I'm saying is, what happened is, in everyone there was a few of them that he was being grilled on, and I went back and watched each one of those podcasts in full. And when you take them into context, it's very similar to what happened with Joe Rogan. When you take Joe Rogan out of context, he sounds like a guy who believes in fucking aliens and that there's lizard people under Antarctica. When you listen to his entire thing, he's just questioning what he's heard before, and it's part of a very long paragraph, and so it becomes very confusing to a lot of people when it comes to that. Again, I don't want you guys to feel like you can't express your opinion if you have a differing opinion on this podcast. Please, I want you to know that, okay? Anything, Kaylin? Or have you just not on TikTok at all?
Are you familiar? Do you know?
No.
I have no idea what y'all talking about.
That's what I love it. That's why.
Wait for the next topic.
That's why you're my BFF.
Good.
That's why you're my BFF, Kaylin.